Hey everyone, it's Torres, and as some of you know, I've recently partnered with the Gracie family for their self-defense program, Women Empowered. This program has been such an eye-opening and positive experience for me that it's actually got me wondering, why aren't more women learning self-defense? I guess the better question, why did it take me so long to learn self-defense? And when I thought about it, I realized that in order for me to consider the need to learn, I first had to acknowledge that I could be a target, that sexual assault can happen to anyone. And that's a scary thought. Now, it's not to say that I never thought about sexual assault. Like every woman, every time I was in a dark alley or a parking lot or walking by myself, the thought crossed my mind. So then why is it that when I took a step back from those situations, that I didn't take the necessary steps to prepare myself in case of an attack? Looking back, I realized that the reason I wasn't being proactive is that I didn't truly believe that there was a solution. I had a very hard time believing that a woman my size or any size could successfully defend herself against a man who's much bigger, heavier, and stronger than she is. Now, this is coming from a woman who hits the gym almost every day of the week. But I acknowledge that there is one disadvantage that women will always have, and that is the physical strength disadvantage. The average woman will always be physically weaker than the average man. And unfortunately, this was a huge source of some of the subliminal insecurities and intimidations that I faced on a daily basis, whether it was at work, whether it was at school, or in any other relationships. And it's the same physical disadvantage that makes the thought of sexual assault so terrifying. When I considered the possibility of an attack, it would induce feelings of fear, of helplessness, of defeat. Simply put, it was a very disempowering thought. So much so that it was almost easier just to disregard the issue altogether. Until I learned an alarming statistic that 1 in 4 women will be sexually assaulted in her lifetime. And that's when I came to the conclusion that disregarding the facts will not lessen my chances or the chances of one of my close friends from being a target. I didn't want to leave it up to chance because the chances are just too high. And that's when I started the Women Empowered program. And I can tell you without question that this is the best decision I've ever made. Now, it wasn't until I learned the strategies and techniques of the Women Empowered program that for the first time in my life, I actually believed I had the tools to defend myself against an assailant in a worst case scenario, regardless of his size. And that did incredible things for my confidence. And it's that same confidence that has allowed me and other students of the program to face and conquer some of the daily struggles that we encounter as women that are often rooted in those physical differences between men and women. Now, a little bit about the program. The Women Empowered program was created by the Gracie family, who for the past 80 years has been proving that with proper timing, leverage, and technique, that a smaller person can defeat a larger opponent. Royce Gracie shocked the world in the first 3 Ultimate Fighting Championships, when he was the smallest competitor in the entire competition and he defeated every single giant he faced. Now, obviously, we're women and he's a man, but the same principles that Royce Gracie used to defeat opponents who outweighed him up to 100 pounds are the principles taught in the Women Empowered program that will enable us to defend ourselves against an attacker of any size. Now, believe it or not, these techniques do not require strength or athleticism or coordination. They don't require you to be a certain age, and they do not require any previous martial arts experience. This is not just a self-defense program. This is a total empowerment program. We not only teach you the techniques to defend against the most common attacks on women, we also discuss critical awareness principles, and we go into great detail about the strategies and the psychology of the different types of predators so that we know what we're up against. Now, realizing that these statistics are 1 in 4, chances are that some of the women watching this are survivors of sexual assault. And we acknowledge that it is especially challenging for survivors to engage in any activity that may revive any of the negative emotions or memories from such a traumatic experience. However, in the time that I've been working with the Gracies, we have had many survivors complete the course. And in every single case, they have reported that completing the Women Empowered program was one of, if not the most significant step forward in the healing and liberation process for them. So why is it that more women aren't learning self-defense? It's because the thought of sexual assault only induces negative emotions of fear, of helplessness, and of failure. Well, I'm here to tell you that when I think about the possibility of being attacked, I no longer feel disempowered. I know there's a solution. I have a plan. I know that victory is possible. I no longer feel limited by my size, my strength, or my gender. And this confidence has helped me in all areas of my life. Now, obviously, I hope I never have to use any of the techniques I've learned in this program. But I know that if I am ever targeted, I have a plan. And with the Women Empowered program, you will too.